Joining us now on The Source, we have Hugo Cheshire. He is the Director of Policy and Government Relations with the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Hugo.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm great, and you're looking great today. Let's talk a little bit about the return to business to some degree today. The Ontario government easing up restrictions to some degree. Can you say how that was received by your membership?
It's been a bit of a ray of hope that the end is in sight somewhat, and we know that it was going to be a cautious rollout, that it wasn't going to be flip the switch and everything's back to normal. There was going to be a case of, okay, well, let's open up a little bit and then we'll see how it goes. And we'll open up a bit more if that goes well, and we'll see how it goes. But it's hopeful that we're starting the process. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
When the provincial government released its framework for getting back to business, does this really cover all of that first stage of the 3 stages, or is this just a partial of that first stage?
I think this is just a partial right now, that phase 1 has yet to be completed. I think this is more a case of let's open up some things that are more urgent. Things like the auto dealerships by appointment make sense because people, especially essential workers, may need to get their cars serviced, especially with public transit being so limited, for example. So I think this was a gradual rollout. I think we'll see phase 1 really start to roll out in earnest, hopefully soon. And then we'll see how that goes and what the caseload looks like after a few weeks of running that.
From the federal government last week, there was some more information about expanded eligibility for the CERB. What does that amount to?
That's been useful as well. I think the government's realized that there were gaps involved, for example, with a CERB, that you could be, say, a self-employed business owner, and your business could be almost shut down, but not quite. And that would mean that you were ineligible, even though you'd lost maybe 90% of your revenue. So they addressed that and made it now so that you can earn a small amount and still be eligible, which is great news for small business owners. And it's good to see the government plugging away at the gaps that they've identified in its programs. We understand that there would be gaps because they were rolled out so quickly, but the attention to detail has been very welcome.
Is your membership happy with the wage subsidies, the 75% wage subsidy that was rolled out? And do you expect that there will be a need to expand that beyond the 3-month time that was originally announced?
Yeah, that's a good question. Generally, yes. The initial wage subsidy of 10% was disappointing, and a lot of our members had expressed their dissatisfaction with that it wouldn't help keep them open, really. The 75% jump was a big improvement, and to see that rolled out has been very good. We've seen a lot of organizations bringing people back on in response to that. There still have been layoffs, of course. That was pretty much unavoidable, I think that it's quite possible that this may be extended if the economic conditions don't recover more quickly. And I would hope that would be the case, as this is what is keeping a lot of businesses afloat right now and what is keeping a lot of people employed at the moment.
We're almost at that point where the 3-month time period is approaching very quickly. So we do need an announcement from the government on whether or not that might happen.
Yes, I think so. And it'll in large part depend on the provinces and what their timelines for rollout look like for reopening. And that's going to vary from province to province. But I don't think anyone is looking at a complete reopening within the timeframes that these programs expire in. So I think that an extension of them is very likely. And I would like to think that the government has not invested all of this money in keeping the economy running just to let it collapse 3 months later. I believe that they're going to want to extend those programs for sure.
GNCC has had to transition a lot of what it does because you gather businesses together on a regular basis with your Business After 5 and other kind of events. How are you dealing with those kinds of things right now, and what kind of services are you offering your members?
Well, there won't be any more business events for quite a while, I can guarantee that. So what we've been trying to do is, like so many other businesses and organizations, transition to a more online model. We're offering webinars twice a week with notable people, including politicians, experts in finance and law and so on, to try and help businesses out. We're doing a daily update series, which has been very well received. You can sign up for that. And essentially what we're trying to do is distill all the news and the important updates down to what is useful for businesses and organizations to put everyone in touch with grant programs and assistance and so forth. So although we have had to make some serious adjustments to our business model, it's overall been very successful, and we've received a lot of positive feedback from the organizations that we're helping.
Do you have to be a member of the GNCC to participate in these webinars and to get the mailings?
No, absolutely not. They're open to all. Anyone can sign up for the webinars. They are all completely free. And the same with the daily updates as well. Just go to our website, gncc.ca, and you can sign up. You don't need to pay anything or be a member.
Thanks for your time today, Hugo.
Anytime, Mike. Thank you.
We'll be back with more on The Source in a moment.